welcome to the mid-north coast of New South Wales and Port Macquarie, Andrew.
Yep.
Now, as well as being a very popular holiday spot, this is koala country.
The town's obsessed by them, Nick, but it's also a very important timber producing area and has been for the past 100 years. Now, you might think that timber production and koalas do not mix, but new science suggests otherwise.
On the streets of Port Macquarie, you're never too far from a koala. In the local park, a sleepy koala watches as a wooden replica takes pride of place in the local playground. In this part of the world, be it local park, national park, state forest or even suburban backyard, the koala is a prominent presence and looking after them is a serious business.
One of our most important jobs is protecting wildlife, and koalas are obviously an important one of those things. So one of the most important things we do is make sure that there's a range of forest ages in the landscape. We take steps to protect a nice corridor network of koala habitat, and we also try and make sure we're protecting koala feed trees in all of our operations.
The Port Macquarie Wauchope area is a long-standing timber production region, and at first glance, forestry and koala protection may seem at odds, but in actual fact, sustainable timber production and thriving koala populations can and do peacefully coexist. It's a point that has been proven through a century of forest management.
We're really proud to achieve 100 years. This Burrawan State Forest that we're in today was dedicated in 1914. You know, it's had a long history of management, and all of those things seem to be working because we know from the research and we know from our surveys that we've still got, you know, a healthy koala population here thanks to all of that management over the last 100 years.
Koala management includes a range of actions like the retention of feed trees and creating new reserves where populations are found. There's also the fact that 30% of state forest here is dedicated to an extensive system of wildlife corridors which provide connectivity throughout the forest and allows the koalas to roam, which they do, some animals covering a home range of 20 hectares.
The habitat network is extensive right across the forest estate. So we link in with national parks and other land tenures, but within our forest estate we've got a habitat corridor network that's extensive right across the area. So in every area that we plan an operation, we know that we'll find a large network of protected habitat.
An important factor in managing koalas is gaining a more accurate understanding of where they might be found.
Now, my neck is sore because I set myself the task today of finding a koala in the wild, but it's really, really hard. Trees get in the way, leaves get in the way, and they're hard to see anyway. Traditionally, surveys for koalas have been done not by looking up, but by looking down. They're looking for scats on the ground, but
Yes.
even those are very, very difficult to find. But there is a new technology for finding koalas in the bush, which involves this little sound recorder. Nick, in mating season, koalas cannot shut up. They make an enormous racket. And what we do is we put this in the bush for a long period of time and we record them. This is what a koala in mating season might sound like.
By listening for koalas, we can know where they live, which gives us a better understanding of their habitat and how to protect them. Dr. Brad Law is a research ecologist with the Forest Science Centre and has been studying koalas. This research has shown that koala habitat is complex. Good habitat is made up of a range of facets, including the right forest type and trees, soil type, moisture level and topography. How the forest is impacted by wildfire also affects koalas.
One of the things we've found out by producing a habitat map is the frequency of wildfires is one of the key things that determine whether koalas are present or not. So the more wildfires there are, is not good for koalas. So managing wildfires is a good management practice, and probably the best way to do that is with prescribed burning.
Now, you might think that koalas don't do much, and you're probably right, because they spend about 22 hours of the day asleep. But in the 2 hours of the day that they're active, they in fact wander around the forest searching for food. Food sources are a great predictor for where you might find a koala, and that can include urban areas, and that comes with a whole suite of risks.
That's probably the biggest problem for koalas. Urban areas have got a whole range of different threats for koalas. So obviously urban development results in the removal of habitat for koalas, and that would be the #1 threat for them. But also where you've got urban areas, there's more cars, and a lot of koalas get killed directly by cars, and also more dogs.
Koalas and koala habitat is found on all land tenure, including state forest, national park and private property. Koalas are mobile animals that range across different lands, so corridors connecting the habitat are important. The greatest threats to koalas are permanent land clearing for urban development and frequent wildfires. Koalas and forestry have happily coexisted on the North Coast for more than 100 years due to the extensive network of corridors and protected land interspersed with sustainable timber harvesting operations. For more information, visit forestrycorporation.com.au.
I think people are very concerned about the plight of koalas, and the best way to answer how they're doing is to look at their status in a range of different areas. And particularly if we can say koala numbers are increasing or decreasing or remaining stable, it gives people confidence of how well management actions are working for koalas.